Hey, hello, good day, good morning. Happy Easter Monday to all our viewers out there in the diaspora, those in Africa, and of course, those watching us live right now on www.bentelevision.com, Sky Channel 182, Freeview Channel 244, and on Star Time in Nigeria. It's another wonderful day here in Europe, especially United Kingdom and many other places. They're having a bank holiday, which means people are home celebrating the Easter period. We want to wish you a wonderful Easter celebration to you all out there. Well, it's still the season of politics and policies and personalities. You've seen what happened last week, or about a week ago in Nigeria, whereby the teeming millions of Nigerians decided to go to the poll, use their permanent voting card, and use the card reader machine to elect a new president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a country that has more than 170 million people, a country that many predicted that the election would be, well, up and down. Surely enough, it has been up and down, but nevertheless, it created a new dimension, a new history in the most populous black nation in the world, Nigeria. It is a country that is classified to be the #1 economy. A lot of people created a lot of permutation, calculation, adding, subtracting, multiplying to see who can potentially be the winner. Indeed, we know who the winner is. Is a man called General Muhammadu Buhari. He is from Katsina, Daura to be precise, and is an indigent of what you may tag as a northerner. But one thing that he always say is, he is a Nigerian. Without any doubt, the conceding president accepted that indeed the baton has been changed in Nigeria, and he accepted the outcome of the election even before people thought he should have done so. Is that a good sign of good leadership, quality leadership, potential leadership? Well, only the electorate decided that indeed it's time to change the baton. In the studio with me is a pen. Well, it is a big pen. It is a pendulum, the man who writes every weekend in Nigeria, a man that uses social network to reach more than 1 million people, from Twitter to Facebook and online. And of course, is no any other person than Chief Dele Momodu, the publisher of Ovation International, Ovation Group, all the way from Africa through many other destinations to get here to us. Why? Because he has been saying a lot before the election, and indeed for those who can technically say politics is about number game, without any doubt, many will agree that indeed Chief Dele Momodu added to the value of the electorate to decide on their fate who to vote for, most likely more than any other person within the opposition while not a member officially of that opposition party. Chief Dele Momodu, you're welcome to the program.
Chairman, thank you so much. Thank you for having me again.
It's a pleasure to have you. Before the election, of course, you came in and you shared extensively with viewers. Now the election has taken place. How do you think your outcome of everything you've been sharing with people materialize?
Well, let me congratulate all Nigerians and friends of Nigeria. Let me also wish all our viewers a happy Easter. I must say I am overjoyed because we have been able to prove the doomsday prophets wrong. Everyone thought there would be crisis, there would be calamity, and Nigeria was going to collapse. If possible, we're going to break up into smithereens. But Lord have mercy.
Amen.
You know, we were able to have a good election, a credible election. It may not be perfect. It's far from being perfect. I've not seen any election that is perfect anywhere in the world. But majority of Nigerians today would agree that we went through the valley of death and we were able to come back on top. We must thank all Nigerians for their great effort because it was not easy. The president and commander-in-chief promised to deliver a good election, and I believe he did. A lot of people, including me, we were doubters. So I must say publicly that whatever was responsible for his decision to let go, that would be the wisest decision he would ever take. And now he can conveniently join other world statesmen. He will be respected for it all over the world and forever. So, then the electoral body itself, INEC, led by Professor Tahiru Jega, we must commend them because they remained focused against all odds, against provocation, against abuses, personal attacks. They were undaunted. They kept their eyes on the ball. And today, the whole world is giving them a standing ovation. And what more can I say? I must congratulate the winner, General Muhammadu Buhari, and his vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for a great job. And then the APC itself, for fighting a very good battle, because it was a tough battle. I was a volunteer supporter. I'm not a member of APC, like you rightly mentioned, but it was such a big battle. And Nigeria today is very proud. I left Africa just as General Buhari was being declared, and everywhere I've been, trust me, the way people look at Nigerians is now different.
It's taken to another level.
Oh, people now look at us with respect because they expected everything to collapse. They expected things to fall apart. And then for us not to be at ease. But today, everywhere I go, the first thing people tell me is, oh, well done, congratulations. And if you look at it, even the Naira has improved. Yeah. I know a lot of people now who are showing interest in investing in Nigeria. This time last week, nobody was sure, you know. But today, everybody is rejoicing with us. And I hope we will seize this new opportunity to restore peace and to restore sanity to our great nation.
Well, Nigeria indeed a great nation and potentially a major nation that can really do very well at the international level. Now, of course, you've commended INEC. If looking at it that the result did not favor Buhari, what do you think Nigeria could have, where do you think we could have been as of today?
Well, on a personal note, for as long as the election was free and fair, if Jonathan won the election, I would have congratulated him. Maybe a lot of us would have been disappointed because Nigeria is in the mood for change. We desperately need change. Change from the way we've always misbehaved. All of us, without exception. You know, because they say when you are in Rome, you behave like Romans. So, but I can tell you that from my little interaction with the Buhari group, I can see the respect that the governors have for him. In fact, I know a lot of big guys in APC right now who are not even sure they want to take any appointment because they believe if they misbehave, Buhari will make a scapegoat of them. It will not spare anybody. And that is what Nigeria needs. We had reached a stage where everybody was just doing whatever they liked. People were not afraid to steal in arrears and to steal in advance what they don't need. So they've kept us down.
Perpetual.
And a lot of people in a rich nation like Nigeria living below poverty level was just unacceptable. It was unreasonable. And it was unpardonable. So today, we have a new vista of hope. And I hope that we will make the best of it. Because it can't get better than what we have now. Even those who said they didn't want Buhari, now they are beginning to see the sense in it. That, oh, after all, it seems that that's the kind of person we need.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
Yes. Buhari, surely enough now, is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Over the last few days, for those who have been monitoring the international news, and Nigeria has suddenly said, actually, things are getting clearer. People are somehow already been totally reoriented about the outcome of the election. It seems like there's peace already. People are kind of excited. Even people who were quiet before, Do you think this mood will be sustained for how long? For the first 100 days that people need to monitor him? And likewise, he said, watch me in the first 100 days of what we're going to do.
For me, I've always said it. A key ingredient of leadership is trust. If people trust their leaders, they are ready to go into fire with him. It's not going to be very rosy. A lot of people are expecting miracles. No miracle is going to happen just like that. We all must come together and collectively lift up our country. I believe that things are going to change for the better because we trust Buhari. He's not a man who will tell you sweet things because he needs your vote. I've studied him. He's a man who tells it as it is. As a matter of fact, this election is a triumph of credibility over deceit. We've always been deceived by our leaders who will tell us sweet things. Oh, we have tarred 20,000 kilometers of road. Do you know the meaning of 20,000 kilometers of road? And we know, you and I travel a lot within Nigeria. We know that there are no such roads. They'll tell us we've done Benin or a road is now like the motorway in England. It is not true. You did a road from Benin, you stopped in Ore. So what then happens between Ore and Lagos?
And Lagos.
You know, oh, we've done the road Lagos-Ibadan. Nobody ever did it. It is not true. Someone did it before it got messed up. And yet, as I'm talking to you now, people still spend 7-8 hours just to travel between Lagos and Ibadan because the road has not been completed. That is not to say that the government of the day did not do anything. But what we are saying is
that this Lagos, will you say is because of the traffic or because the construction is still going on?
It's ongoing and it's going at snail speed. I'm not even sure that we've been able to get enough money to even pay the contractors. And without money, you can't do anything. We all knew that the economy was comatose, but because of the election, people were patching it up, people were pretending. Even this year's budget, we're going now to the World Bank and to the African Development Bank, ADB, to borrow $2 billion for us to be able to activate and actualize this budget. That's the reality on ground. So what we need to do anyway is that under Buhari, we must restore sanity. Those days of profligacy when you spend money as if it was going out of vogue must stop. A lot of things we used to waste resources on. Maybe in Aspen Rock, you are budgeting $2 billion for the kitchen of the president and the vice president. It's in a country where people are hungry. All that would have to change. Even if you have to roast a cow every single day, there is no way you are going to spend $1 billion on feeding, the presidency. The kind of money that we used to spend on having 100 cars follow the president and the first lady wherever they go, even when there is nobody in the cars. It has to stop. So I think the first thing that General Buhari has to do is to manage the economy in a very frugal manner. It has to be it has to be an Ijebu man. My wife is an Ijebu, and you know, the way Ijebu people manage resources, that is why they have been successful over the years. The problem with Nigeria is that we've wasted too many resources in the past, but we must wake up to reality now.
Well, economy, you mentioned, for example, the spending. There is a rumor, one has to presume is a rumor, that the $20 billion, the so-called $20 billion that was missing, that was mentioned during the former central bank governor, Sanusi, somehow people are saying it's been found. How true do you think this could be?
I have no idea. You know, it's only the Central Bank of Nigeria that will know what has been found and what has not. What I know for a fact is that NNPC did not manage the affairs and the accounts of Nigeria very well. In fact, they were managing it as if it was a personal account of some people. So I know that with Buhari now coming in May, there is already a panic alert in all the ministries and parastatals. And that is good for Nigeria.
Already.
People, just the fear of Buhari now is the beginning of wisdom. So, and that is what a leader needs. When you have a leader that nobody is afraid of, Go and read business management theory anywhere. A good manager must be feared and respected. The moment everybody likes a manager, go and check it. There is a weak point somewhere. But when they know, even here, if you are driving on the road,
yeah,
and you see a red light, why don't you cross it? It's because you know that there may be someone watching. And if that person watching should catch you, and these days even the camera,
yes,
nobody needs to stand there. That is what Nigeria needs. Nigeria needs a father figure, because when you respect your father, you don't want to offend him.
And not just ordinary father.
You don't want to disappoint him. So right now, I know that people know that if you commit crime, that's why I say people will not commit crime. But if you get caught,
The
you will go in for it.
Well, we're talking about Nigeria. Nigeria, good people, great nation. And in the studio live with us is Chief Dele Momodu, the publisher of Vision International, the international magazine that is published in a few African languages. And we're talking about Nigeria because Nigeria indeed is in the eye of the world. 29 May will usher in a new President, General Muhammadu Buhari, who has been there before in the 1980s. Somehow, Nigerians absolutely believe that indeed he is the person that they need in this period of time. And so they went to the poll with few irregularities, elected him. Again, you have to rewind back that in 2000 and from 1999 to date, the election is only getting better. So with the challenges in Nigeria, we are talking and we're talking about the opportunities and of course engaging the Nigerians in the diaspora. Likewise, to begin to think on what they need to do, how they need to engage Nigeria, because if the tide is getting better, you don't want to stay behind too late. Politically, we have studied Nigeria, and you have been, without any doubt, one of the major disciples that have followed the politics of it. Do you not think that, as General Muhammad has indicated, that he would need to have credible people in his team, that Nigeria, or within his team, and maybe he will allow other people that are not actually in APC to join his team? Bearing in mind, he too is a product of not just his olden day CPC, but it's a cumulative of other parties together to produce him.
Yes, if I were in General Buhari's shoes, I would immediately set up a government of national unity. I will search, locate, and employ the services of the best Nigerians wherever they are on the surface of the earth, whether they are politicians or not. If you look at the Obasanjo administration, some of the brightest stars we had at that time, they were mostly technocrats. They were not hardcore politicians. You had the Nasiru El-Rufais, you had the Malam Nuri Badus, you have Obi Ezekwesili, you had Madam Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, you had so many of them. If you look at even the regime of General Ibrahim Babangida in those days, he was able to assemble some of the finest brains like Bolaji Akinyemi, professor of international relations. You had Prince Bola Ajibola, I mean, an eminent jurist. You had Professor Olikoye Ransom Kuti, even at the stage. You had Dr. Tai Sholari. You know, so I expect us to have a star-studded cabinet. You see, a federal government is so big. There are other things you can give to your party men and women. But your cabinet, the day he announces his cabinet, the whole world will know whether it's serious or it's just the same old story. Because I know that right now as we speak, there must be thousands of politicians already lining up to send in their CVs, to send in, and trust me, most times politicians will choose their house help above performance. They want people they think they can control. But for once, we must have pity on Nigeria. Let General Buhari go and pick the best brains. It's like going to the World Cup and you are choosing your third or fourth 11. You are going to fail. But if you choose the best, when they mention, let's say, your Attorney General, you must get the best, the brightest lawyer as your Attorney General. When you talk about the Secretary to the federal government, you must look for someone who is hands-on, who is meticulous.
Okay, now let me slow you down, especially because you're talking about the Attorney General. Now, Professor Osibanjo, who is a SAN, is gone into number 2. Should we then look the next person who has governed and emerges, who before people thought actually should have been the VP presidential candidate or the vice presidential candidate, is a Lagos State Governor, Fashola. Should he now, in fact, from our own research here, we actually pencil him as the Attorney General of the Federation. And then now you talk about the likes of the DG, Director General of the campaign group, who is a politician by excellence as well in his own way, to be the Secretary to the federal government. This is our own calculation for now. So let me hear your own acceptability to this.
Yes, you are referring to the governor of Lagos State, who we all agree is one of the biggest revelations in Nigerian politics. He is not a politician per se. Okay, you are talking about Chibuike, Rotimi, and Mechi.
Yes.
Fantastic. In fact, without him,
there would not be that emergence.
There would have been APC.
That's correct.
You know, because all this trouble started from him.
We want to agree with that.
The fight between him and the First Lady, then the Governors Forum, when he defeated the president's candidate and the president refused to accept it or acknowledge him. So there are millions of Nigerians who are probably better than all of us put together. Okay? All that matters to me is for us to pick them. I will not even preach for myself. When I was doing it, I didn't do it because I wanted anything from government. I will go into government only if government feels that I am needed. Then it becomes important. But we must bury our personal ambition for the sake of Nigeria. And all that matters to me right now is for us to assemble the best team. And we have them. If you look, you will find. And if we knock, I'm sure the door will open to Nigeria. So we need to go and find the best brains, and I'm sure General Buhari would have little or no problem at all. Okay,
without putting you on the spot, but around the spot, give me probably names that you think, well, if this person is in government, this will help.
Yes, there are some of them who have been in government before and we've seen their performance. For example, I don't know why anybody would have removed an OBSA easily from education. I mean, a passion. You see, because you cannot see any developed nation in the world where education is not the bedrock. So we need to find an Ezekwesili to go back to education because she already knows what was wrong with it. But I can't force the president to pick him. But that's my own. If you ask me now, if I are the president, the people I will pick, I will definitely pick an Ezekwesili to be in that cabinet. Number 2, I believe there are others like the governor of Lagos, whom you've already mentioned. We've seen his performance. I would have him in 1, 2, or 3 positions. The first will be very difficult. It would have been a very good secretary to the federal government, but because Professor Shibajo is already vice president, so that is not possible. So it cannot be. If that is not possible, I would love to see him take charge inside Aso Rock as a chief of staff. You see, because the sanity around the presidency is key, and you need a man. If you have ever been to Governor Fashola's office, it's the only office where you don't see people hanging around doing nothing. One of the things that kills them in Aso Rock is that it's like a beehive of activities. Everybody just comes, whether needed or not needed, they just come there hanging around and lying to the president. So you need to clean up that environment so that only those who have business to do
will be there.
Okay? So, and if Fashola, trust me, would enforce that. If I were the president, I would beg him that please come and take charge of the presidency. Because, you see, a man like General Buhari has too many things to worry about. So, but with a Fashola around, you can be sure that you will have a proper White House in Nigeria, where everything is prim and proper. If I don't put him there, then maybe I'll put him in works. The Ministry of Works, because right now we have a case of infrastructural decay in Nigeria. Almost everything, almost virtually all our infrastructure have collapsed. So we need a man who can say, yes, let us build the road from Lagos to Ibadan, and you can be sure it will be of international standard. So Ifashola, I believe, will be able to do that. Of course, there are many other people. When we talk about Attorney General, you have a Femi Falana, who we all respect for his uprightness. He's not a member of APC. We're in the same party, the National Conscience Party. I believe there is no reason why we cannot go and invite him to join such a government. You have Olisa Agbakoba, okay?
Another son.
Yes, you have them who can be in that government. You have a Shehu Sani, who has been a
he's a senator now.
Yes, you understand. So but what I'm saying is that people like him.
Can you make a senator a minister?
Oh, you can change.
They can double?
No. I mean, what you can do, and it's been done before. You know, for example, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was supposed to be governor.
Okay.
When he was invited to become the vice president. You know, I'm just saying there are guys like that who are in government who can do different things. They can perform different roles.
Let me get a little bit more clarification on this, if you do know. Is on the senators, for example, they are elected as senators. Now, if they make them ministers, for example, would they relinquish the senatorial seat?
Yes, definitely. You will have to pick one,
then they will have
and then you will have to do a by-election.
Indeed.
You know, things like that.
Now, in that situation, for example, because we do have a lot of governors that have now become senators that are members of the APC, will it be more convenient for them, knowing that as a senator, you're absolutely protected and you're there for the next 4 years, or now you decided to take a ministerial post, which they can change within a year, and you cannot go back to become a senator?
What I know is that for the sake of peace and convenience, those of them who are already in one position or the other will be left there. You see, but that's not to say that they cannot be. You see, I also expect the president to have like a kitchen cabinet where you have people who will serve as the brain box. You know, the engine room.
The think tank.
Yeah, a think tank.
People like Jimmy Lawal and the rest.
Yeah, so you don't have to put them directly in charge because they are already elected, you know, and then that is it. Even in Russia, there is always that you know, inner caucus who are able to talk, walk in, and advise the president or the prime minister accordingly. I expect to find such a thing in Nigeria. Wherever you turn in Nigeria, there are people. Fola Adeola, for example,
former vice
presidential candidate to
Nuhu
Ribadu.
Yeah.
In fact, I was one of the first people to tell him around the year 2000 that I expect him to vie for the presidency of Nigeria. I went to him in his office at Guaranty Trust Bank, and he told me that he was just about retiring as the managing director of GTB at the time. They are there. These guys, in any other clime, will be the ones running the affairs of Nigeria. You have a lot of others who have distinguished themselves in the area of medicine because healthcare is very key in Nigeria. If you go to America, you will see a lot of Nigerians who are doing great things. If you come here to Britain, you find a lot of Nigerians who are doing great things in healthcare. And we can invite them back home, just the same way Dr. Adeshina.
Yes, of the Minister of Agriculture.
Yeah, the Minister of Agriculture was brought back, or Aganga, you know, or Konjo Iweala. And that's it. You must go and find them and bring them back.
So which means this government, if it have the government of inclusion, it will be a good...
You can't just, if you hand the government over to politicians alone, we will get into trouble. Politicians, the way we do things. And you must remember, and I want to say it without any fear of contradiction, that this election was won by Buhari not by the power of the politicians, but by the power of those young people, the first-time voters who belong to neither PDP nor APC. I can tell you that when you're talking about my impact, I concentrated all my attention on those young people. And I can tell you that 99% of them did not belong to any political party. All they wanted was change. About 70% of the voters anywhere in the world are young people below the age of 40 or 35.
That's true. That's true.
So
that's true.
We must take them into consideration. We must find people who can connect to those youths. Because if you don't carry those youths, and if you read my column last Saturday in This Day, I mentioned it. The young ones sent me to the president-elect and said, tell him that we're the ones now in charge. The politicians are not, and I delivered the message. You see, if once you carry them along and they trust you, even if there are difficulties along the way, they will support you.
That's true. That's true. Well, we're still talking on the issue of Nigeria. In the studio live is Chief Dele Momodu, and we are talking about this #1 economy on the African continent, more than 170 million people that are watching, haven't done their election, and of course this weekend as well, there will be another election for the governors of the more than 20 states across the country. So we're going to go on a short break, and then when we come back, we continue talking to Chief Dele Momodu, and then we'll make it more interactive with you out there. So stay tuned with us. We'll be back in a short break. Welcome back. We're still talking to Chief Dele Momodu, the publisher of Ovation International, based on Africa and across the West African region, publishing in few African languages online and in actual print. And of course, he has been one of the biggest names that you can definitely mention that has been talking about the Nigerian election 2015, the possibilities, and in fact, his own transformation on the way to Damascus. Bear in mind that he used to talk a lot about most of the candidate, and then his final endorsement, and of course we have known the final outcome. Nigerians celebrating all over the world, talking about the new president, General Muhammadu Buhari. And of course, actually, let me quickly bring this to your point, that the president, Goodluck Jonathan, says for the last 16 years he has been caged, so right now he has been relieved of that cage. What do you think about that comment?
Yeah, that's the reality. He's the only Nigerian I know ever who has been permanently in office since 1999. Deputy governor, acting governor, governor, vice president, acting president, and president. 16 years is a long time in the life of a nation, not to talk of in the life of a man. So definitely he can go back now either to his village, or he may decide to settle in Abuja or any part of the world. If I were in his shoes, this is a great opportunity for him to write good books. He can take up a professorial chair in Oxford, Cambridge, or Harvard if they find him worthy of such a chair. And that's it. He will be a world statesman. He can be going around delivering speeches, you know. So he will have speaking engagements all over the world and make money. I mean, I'm sure since President Clinton left office, he would have made over 100 million US dollars.
Yes.
Just from speaking engagement. So there is no reason why a man who has been in power non-stop for 16 years cannot write about his experience while in office.
Actually, talking about writing experience, speaking engagement, this is something that is lacking on the African continent and more so Nigeria. Could there be real possibility that they can earn money from that? Because the outcome of
Ambassador is making a lot of money. His last book, which is in 3 volumes.
Yes.
I mean, for me to get it to buy, it cost me about 100,000 naira. He made a lot of money from it. And people are still demanding the book. In fact, it was made more popular because of the so-called ban. So, trust me, I see no reason why President Jonathan will not write books.
Talking about ban of former head of state book. Now, what do you think? Will he be very excited? Well, at the end of the day, now I can now actually sell the books.
Well, I don't know if the court, it wasn't banned by Jonathan. It was banned by a court of law.
Yeah.
Some people took him to court, you know. So I'm sure if the law courts feel there's nothing offensive or libelous or damaging the reputation of the characters mentioned in the book, if they feel there is nothing to it, then they will allow him to sell it. And it will sell very well because the books are very controversial. I can tell you, I've read throughout there. Incredible.
From the media angle, you've been a media practitioner. You now have somebody in the House of Senate, Ben Bruce. What do you think he will be able to contribute in the House? Even though he's in the minority party now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, we need enlightened and educated people like him at the highest level of our legislature. And Ben Bruce is a man I've known over the years, fantastic guy. One of the people who changed the face of entertainment in Nigeria and indeed in Africa. I expect that he will be able to come up with things that can help those of us in the industry. And I'm looking forward to his contribution.
In the House. Nigeria definitely, to Dele, now the international community will be seeing her in a new dimension. And as you mentioned as well, the economy could potentially expand, evaporated into a new dimension, never been seen before, at least in the sense that even the Naira now is gaining ground. What type of opportunities as a well-traveled person, because sometimes when you ride, the first point of your call is the airport. Why do you always concentrate on the airport? Because
the airport is the first point of contact with any nation. If you go to an airport and the place, as you are coming off the plane, everything is stuffy, the elevators are not working, the immigration people are sleeping on mats, the customs people are rummaging through your luggage just recklessly and all that. So what do? You have a very, very bad and low opinion of such a country.
Okay.
Our airports, trust me, it's one of my favorite places because I travel a lot.
Okay.
And each time I travel, I ask myself, how come the airport in Joburg is okay? How come the airport in Cape Town is good? How come a smaller country like Ghana can renovate its airport almost effortlessly? We go there, we don't go through this stress. When they open the doors, we are welcomed by a well air-conditioned, yes, well air-conditioned breeze. You go into their lavatories and the whole place is sparkling clean. So why can't we do? Why is it so difficult to maintain our airport, despite all the money they spent on renovations? In fact, they were taking congratulatory adverts in the newspapers that we've never had such an innovation.
But don't you think it is true? If then before you don't have that lavatory, and now you have a lavatory.
That's not true.
One is functioning out of 6.
No.
Let me take this call. Hello, sorry. Welcome to the program. Your name and where you calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Ade calling from Birmingham.
Okay, Ade, welcome. How you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Happy Easter.
Thank you. Good morning, Dr. Alisa. Good morning,
Chief Dele.
Chief Dele.
Good morning, sir. Good
Good
morning.
morning, sir. Good morning, sir. I salute all the disciples of our change in Nigeria and all over the world. People really did excellent job for me to see these days because, like dele momodu said, people are started respecting Nigeria. In my work, those that are not Nigerians are even congratulating me. You see, if people have even known our country and we are being exposed through this military and people ask questions. What's wrong with Nigeria? We know and we see people like our neighbors like Liberia, Ivory Coast, and the rest. Gone are the days that Nigerians go there to save their country. Why is it that Nigerians are running away and they are not able to keep Boko Haram? And they themselves give the answer to themselves. And it amazed me, surprised me. And people are even, they know the situation of Nigeria, there are some Nigerians. And what they say, most of them is corruption. You see, it's unfortunate what has gone through Nigeria. Nigeria has gone through for about 16 years of PDP. And it's unfortunate that some people didn't realize that we need change.
Okay.
All over the world, when things are not going well in a nation, the people of that country will come together to change that kind of government.
Thank you, Ade.
That is what Nigeria has done.
Okay. Thank you, Ade.
Thank you so much. I mean, I agree with you. We're saying virtually the same thing, and we hope now that things seems to be coming back to shape, we'll be able to hold on tight to it, because it has taken us forever to find this beautiful bride. And now that we found the beautiful bride,
how do you maintain
and
her?
the marriage has been consummated, so how do we maintain, the relationship? So we hope that it will be a very hot and lasting romance.
It shouldn't be wrong to ask, what do you think about all these people that have been prophesizing victory for potential candidates, especially the vicars, the imams, that have come out so publicly and endorse us? What do you think will happen to them now?
Nothing. I mean, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. So no human being is perfect. It shows they are human after all. And don't forget that in Nigeria, there are different things that are responsible for all these predictions. Sometimes where you come
But you
from.
predicted right. You're not a vicar?
But there have been times when I didn't get it right too in the past. So I must admit that. But what I'm saying is that our prophets in particular, some would say yes, Jonathan will win because Jonathan is their friend. Jonathan is from their ethnic locality. And then there are people who will look at, oh, I don't want a Muslim to be my president, and for that reason, no matter what he does,
Zero.
he will not support him. But what this election has taught me personally is that never underrate anybody, because General Buhari, this is 4th attempt. It's amazing. I'm surprised at his tenacity that he didn't give up. Most of us would have given up long ago. People called him perpetual failure. Oh, he can never be. I know of so many of my friends said, no way, you are supporting a failure. He has failed before, and we hope when he fails this time again, you guys are not going to cry too much. And see how the man has become the biggest brand right now out of Africa.
That's true.
Everybody is talking. I mean, I watched him on Chris Paul on CNN last week, and I could see the respect.
She not gave him.
Yes. Oh, Mr. President-elect. Oh, the general. And, I remember one occasion, when this thing was starting last year. I was in a bus with Governor Amechi and a few of the other young guys.
Yeah.
And so Amechi looked at me and said, Bob D, please, there is this argument that general should drop general from his name because people say it reminds them of his military credentials. And I said, why do you want to drop a man's biggest achievement in life? That's the man's, for a man to rise from a lieutenant all the way to a general is not something you just throw away. I said, so why don't we call him the people's general? And that was how we started hammering on the people's general. The people's general. And today, tell me who want to remove general from
his general.
You know, I told them, I said, okay, so if you remove general, what will you now call him? You call him Mr.? Then he becomes an ordinary man.
Yeah.
If you call him Alhaji, then they will say he's an Islamic fundamentalist. So whichever way you go, so let us stick to general. And today, everybody's calling him the people's general. And we actually need a general in Nigeria. A man who can march forward and will be ready to follow him.
A man that can match for us is finally the man that Nigeria elected to be their president 2015 to 2019 under the All Progressive Congress Party of Nigeria, the strongest opposition party, now, of course, the main party in Nigeria, APC. Well, let's take the next caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, good morning. This is Emmanuel. I'm speaking from Ireland.
You're welcome, Emmanuel. Your question for Chief Dele Momodu or comment?
Generally, I want to congratulate you guys for all you did in view of seeing that the election is through, especially people in diaspora. Happy Easter to you and the Dele.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to make a comment. Dele Momodu, I never knew that he's a very intelligent guy. I am so happy the way he's approaching this issue, you know, on the ground, that this is not a question of ethnic or party politics. It's a question of intellectuals coming together to make sure Nigeria work out in a better way. I am so delighted to hear him speaking about that.
Thank
I have respect for him because I never knew he's this type of a guy who would like all people to come together, irrespective of your political affiliation, notwithstanding.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comment. Thank you, sir.
And again.
Yes, sir. Hello?
Okay. Yes. So probably, I guess, you know, one of your publication is Ovation International, which is well-known brand. But hardly do people actually come across the writer of who you are. So Bob Dele Momodu is what should we call it? He is indeed a #1 writer, a journalist by excellence from the olden days of Concord newspaper.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course he's done all his tutelage from that era till today. So pleasure to have you, Ovi.
Oh, thank you. You see, what people sometimes fail to realize about me is that Ovation is an entertainment journal, a lifestyle magazine for newsmakers. But that is my business. But I hold my opinion. Ovation is like me being a doctor or a pharmacist selling drugs. It doesn't mean that I don't have an opinion. So my opinion then is well presented inside the This Day newspaper. People don't also remember that I was the founding editor that gave birth to what is known today as This Day in 1992. I started writing for the Guardian newspaper when I was a postgraduate student in Ife. I was writing for the Sunday Tribune. I've written for the Sun newspaper. So I've written for This Day. And for me, my opinion today is something that generates a lot of interest, a lot of controversy, but everyone knows where I stand on any issue.
On any issue. Hello, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Pastor Soyin Odunuga.
Okay, hi, welcome,
good morning,
Pastor.
Thank you. How are you today?
We're all good.
How are you, sir?
We're fine, thank you, sir.
And I would like to say hello to each and every one of you. Alistair Shiode, congratulations. And my big brother, how are you, sir?
Thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning.
Nice seeing you again, sir. I'm just so overwhelmed. See, everybody is so excited, and I pray that one day you too you will get there.
Amen.
Yes,
Amen.
you will get there.
Amen.
Particularly to Dele Momodu, because you are an inspiration to we the youth.
Thank you.
And I pray that this government, they will remember you and they will you will be useful and you'll be able to uplift, join in the forces to uplift this beautiful country.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
One thing I need us to consider is the issue of social security. Because if we want to get rid of armed robbery, because we are so afraid to go to Nigeria now. Each time we go to Nigeria, I can't even sleep in my house. I sleep in hotels. So please, the issue of social security will get rid of this armed robbery thing, all this corruption will go down. And I pray that they will consider people like you who have traveled far and wide to be so useful and be able to put all these things in place. I know it's not, Rome wasn't built in a day, but one day we'll get there.
Yes. Amen.
So hopefully, if they are wise enough to select you, you will make a difference there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you. Even if I am not selected, I believe there are so many better qualified Nigerians. Let them look for such people and we will support them. Like I said, for me, it's nothing personal. I'm not desperate. If they feel, yes, I'm needed in whatever capacity, fine. But if not, trust me, I will still support this government.
You have done it before,
Yes.
and I presume you continue to do it. Yes. Now, of course, there have been people as well in government that somehow, as per investigation, they did not really reach to their other people. It's like the moment they got into that place, they block off the road. I will mention names like Ruben Abati, to be honest, because we're in that industry. Throughout the season of what people should be allowed to do, they never allow us really to get near that place. And without being bitter, but one has to question, what is the rationale to behave in that way? At the end of the day, every 4 years, there will be a changeover. Do you cut off something on that aspect?
Well, I don't know what you want me to say about Dr. Ruben Abati. He's my brother.
Like my
He's someone that I love so much. But maybe there are other peculiarities inside the villa that you and I are not aware of. Because somehow, most times, once people get into the villa, they become completely different. They begin to look strange to us. I guess he will be able to explain what happened or what went wrong. I've heard this kind of complaints from people, but I'm sure Ruben meant well. Maybe the forces against him were much bigger than him. So I always tell people, a man who has not been tempted cannot call himself a radical until you face temptations and you survive temptations. Then you can have the mouth to criticize someone else. So a lot of us today who are critics, I don't know what I will become. I pray not. If I get into office one day and then suddenly I begin to look like a monster, I will pray against it, and I will ask my wife, who is a prayer warrior, to pray against it and fast against it, because what is life? What is life? What is it that I want to see today that I have not seen in nearly 55 years of my life? But it's strange how people get to power and then everything just goes haywire for them. If we all remember where we're coming from, which was what my parents used to tell me when I was in primary school, in secondary school, remember the son of who you are. If you remember where you're coming from, trust me, you are not likely to misbehave.
Well, before we go on a break, let's answer this call. Hello, your name and where you're calling from? Hello?
Hello, yeah, my name is Mr. Nelson.
Nelson, okay.
Yeah, I'm calling to contribute. I saw a good comment from one of our brothers who has raised a lot of issues about the youth. And I think in any country, when you forget about the youth, you have a country have failed because of the basement of the growth of the people. And hello?
Yeah, go on.
Actually, why I'm saying this is that now we have been crying for change for so many long, and the revolution have taken
Yeah.
There should be the basic of human rights.
Yeah.
Now, we are talking, Buhari is here. Buhari cannot do it alone without having good people surround him. The same people that happened to Jonathan will still happen to Buhari. Because if you put the same people, because they have been eaten already, we need to go inside states, countries, a village to source out people that have good grades. They are there to assist Nigeria. It won't, because you train your child like a father who didn't lay a good legacy to the children.
Yeah.
The children is growing up. They will lose a lot of text because the father didn't train them very well. But when you carry the children along as they are growing with wisdom, they are growing with knowledge, they are growing with change. The only thing that can make Nigeria to move from today is change, which I know that change is taking place. Change cannot come one day. You must take, a different days, weeks, months, year. Like United Kingdom today, being where people come and they make their daily incomes, live very well, create social security. Somebody fought for it.
Okay.
The great kingdom is a place where all the countries want to come and enjoy because they put the human rights first. Now, I'm saying in respect of this, Nigeria should think about social security.
Okay.
If Nigeria puts social security.
Very well. Let's allow the Chief Dele to comment on that before we go on a break. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I've always advocated for a social welfare system. As a matter of fact, when I was going to contest in 2011, and I was initially in the Labour Party in Nigeria, I traveled to the UK and I did meet at that time with the Member of Parliament and the Lord, who was kind enough to listen to me about my ideas, about my plans, about building a social welfare system for Nigeria. I tried at that time to link up the Nigerian Labour Party with the British Labour Party so that we could have a kind of synergy. And unfortunately, my chairman at the time wasn't that enthusiastic about it, and the thing fell through. I'm hoping that those who will be in the cabinet of General Buhari will be able to impress it upon him to actually do everything possible to provide social security for Nigerians. Because a nation as poor and impoverished as Nigeria today needs that. That's the only way we can stem the tide of violence. There is too much violence in our country, and it's because people have given up hope. They have nothing to live for. People are frustrated, they are disillusioned, they are depressed. Every day I get mails or text messages from people who say, I feel like killing myself, I feel like taking my, and I have to start preaching because you cannot help everybody. You have members of your family who went to school for 5-6 years, they can't find jobs, and they have nothing. So they are turned into beggars in their own country. If we don't do something about them, we will be back to square one in no time. So that's why I'm hoping that General Buhari will have people who are not hardcore politicians. Because hardcore politicians see political appointments as an invitation to treat, an invitation to take care of themselves and not as service to the nation. And this is my biggest worry and my biggest fear. But if you have people, like Ifabella used to say, find people who are not hungry. Because if you put a hungry man in the kitchen, you'll be very, very unkind to tell him not to steal your food. So go and look for distinguished people who have jobs to return to.
So it's a
when I lost the election in 2011, immediately I resumed innovation. I didn't go near Abuja for 2 years thereafter because I didn't have to. Today, as soon as Buhari won last week, I am back on the beat. I'm doing my job. I never stop. I take politics as part-time job. The moment a man makes politics his only vocation, he has no investment anywhere, he has no business to run anywhere and his life totally depends on government, you are going to have a potential thief in your hands.
Well, we're still talking to Chief Dele Momodu. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll round up with another discussion. So stay with us. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back. Nigeria, good people, great nation, watching us live at www.bentelevision.com, Sky Channel 182, Freeview Channel 244, and on Star Time in Nigeria. We're talking about Nigeria, good people, great nation, politics almost completed. President, we already know, elected, General Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President, Professor Osibanjo, and of course, maybe the Secretary of the Federation or the Chief of Staff to the Nigerian President. Wow, everybody is calculating. But surely enough, we will soon know most of them, not necessarily before the 29th May, but at least within the first 2 weeks of Mr. President being in office, because he has a job to do. As Chief Dele Momodu already written even last week, he needs to hit the ground running fast. And of course, we presume they are already running. The likes of Atiku are still in APC, and they're still strong players. Do you think he will possibly take an ambassadorial position just in case they can't, because he cannot be a minister? We don't know.
I don't see Alhaji Atiku Abubakar being a minister or even an ambassador. He would have to be an elder statesman. As the former vice president of Nigeria, I was in government for 8 years. As ambassador, it would just be like somebody who has to be receiving people when they come. I don't think that will happen.
Right.
I don't think I've seen. Well, there are places where people, maybe in Israel, where you have a leader who was president, he goes back to a ministerial appointment, and then one day again he comes back. Yeah. But in our kind of culture, I think it's going to be very awkward for a former vice president to become an ambassador. He will be a statesman. I'm sure they will allow him to nominate people into the cabinet. He will have one or two of his guys. Then they may have board appointments. There are always more than enough.
Yeah.
You know.
What about the chairman of the party? In this case, John.
He too, I'm sure, would nominate. You know,
so it's better for them to stay as leaders of the party rather than take any ministerial post.
Uncle John, as we love to call him, you know, is a man who is a former governor in my state, and so he doesn't need anything. He's a man of very modest means. He's a man who is very cool about life. We were together in exile under Abacha, and we interacted a bit. So I know that he's a very focused man, and at his age, he's not looking for anything. So he too, of course, may be allowed to pick.
But he would rather stay as the national chairman of the party.
I believe so.
Good. Hello, our next caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, hello, good morning. My name is Mr. Richard.
Richard, you're welcome. Yes, go on, Richard.
Oh, all right, yeah, great. First of all, I want to say thank you, Dr. Alistair Shuyode, for bringing Chief Dele Momodu again. Because the last time he came, I was just praying and wondering that, oh, maybe one of these days you will bring him back. So thank you for bringing him back, and I want to commend Chief Momodu as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
For great work you are doing. Now my question is straightforward. I'm wondering what sort of key role are you planning to play in this government? And that's number one. Number two, I'm wondering again regarding, you made mention the issue of airports or no airports. I mean, our airport, I think the last time I went home, it was just ridiculous. And now I'm wondering, using your position now, if you would be able to convey to our new government, incoming government, if or what are they going to do regarding the airport. Then I want to confirm again, I think last week during the election when they were counting, I just want you to confirm. I think I saw you in General Buhari's it's a living room or something, and you were with a phone, so I wasn't sure maybe whether it was you or not. So please, I want you to confirm that, and I want to know, the key role you are going to play.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The key role I'm going to play in this government is to appoint myself as an advisor if I'm not appointed by government. We are all advisors to government. We always think we are helpless, we are powerless. I am fortunate that I have a regular column on the back page of This Day every Saturday. So that column now is so influential that it can keep any government on its toes. And they know when I speak, I don't speak out of sentiment. I speak out of passion for our dear country. I am not in a position to say I will serve in the government, because only General Buhari has the power to appoint those who will serve under him. I've read all over the internet, on Twitter, everywhere, Chief Momodu, even my chairman here wrote about the likely people who will play some roles in this government, and he mentioned my name. I thanked him, but the truth is I don't have the power to appoint myself, and I will not put my mind to it. I know what it takes. A lot of people have to lobby. People will do anything to get into office in Nigeria. I'm not that sort of person. If General Buhari says, Dele, I believe you will be useful to me, and in my own case, I'm not that kind of person who you will go and throw in an area where he lacks jurisdiction. I like to be within my area of core competence, which is media. So, and there are so many media people around General Buhari, so he can pick from any of them. But if he feels that, yes, I have enough capacity, in my professional capacity, to be able to give a good image to his government, fine. But if not, trust me, I will still continue to do it. And where I feel that he's not doing the right things, I will always be willing to also tell him. Unfortunately, I know a lot of the people around him. I know some of his key, what I would call his kitchen cabinet, and I have access to them. So even if I cannot speak directly to the president, I can always call them that, please, we're all stakeholders in this government.
That's right.
Don't let this government derail. If I have seen so many comments by young people on Twitter who said, Chief Dele, if this government fails us, we shall hold you responsible. And that gets me scared. It gets me worried, because they believe that I convinced them into voting for the man, that we all told you the man is too old. We all told you this, we all told you that, and you disagreed with us, and because we believe you, we followed you. So I am worried, as much as you are worried, that nothing must go wrong with this government. So that's why, whether I'm in the government or not, I will do everything to make sure this government succeeds. It's very key. Then about whether you saw me with him last week, no. The last time I saw General Buhari was in London, when he came to London, and I was in his apartment. And I doubt if that's what you saw. I'm not, that's why I told you, I'm not that kind of person who knows how to be running around a man, because the day he won that election was the day I left Africa. I was not even in Nigeria, I was in Ghana that day. And I boarded an Emirates flight straight to Dubai. And here I am. I haven't been home. I've not seen General Buhari. I've not spoken to him. But he knows that he has my prayers at all times. I believe that God will use him to lift up our country. I can see God already doing that. People are respecting our country. The naira is beginning to pick up. I mean, a lot of investors are now looking towards Nigeria. And that is all we need. We can't all be in government. It is not possible. You know? So if they pick us, fine. If they don't, trust me,
no problem.
I'm very cool.
Well, that's Chief Dele Momodu. Let's take our next caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Yes, my name is Babatunde Onikolima. I'm calling from Gothenburg, Sweden.
Okay, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say that the program has been very, very, very educative. I really appreciated all that you have said so far. But I will like to ask, because you have spoken about the president-elect involving a lot of individuals that are kind of, I don't know how to put that, have done very, very good things in their field. Now, I'm relatively young, but I want to ask what he will do if he was in the position of the president, in saying that the president also provides a platform for other people that want to apply themselves, that live in diaspora, that also want to apply themselves and have some kind of involvement in the development of Nigeria, because there are quite a lot of people that may not have kind of gotten to the topmost places in their life, but they are on their way there and they want to be involved in the process of development in Nigeria. So I would like to ask them.
Okay, Babatunde, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Gothenburg, Sweden.
From Sweden, okay. That's why I'm trying to listen very well, so that right. Can you ask the question a bit louder to Chief Dele so that he can make his comment?
Okay, I'm sorry. Then I have to speak. My question is that it's not really okay. My question is that there are a lot of young people all over the world, like in Sweden and other countries of Europe and America, that want to be involved in the process of development. One stage is that we all have used the social media to elect or to campaign for this new president-elect. But we also want to be able to apply ourselves in some way, not necessarily to make money like it has always been, because some of us are doing quite well all over the world, but we have acquired some knowledge and we want to be able to apply ourselves to this country that we all love so much. I can say that for a fact that I have a dual citizenship and I'm using my own talent to develop Sweden, and I want to be able to apply myself also to Nigeria. So, Mr. Dele Momodu, sir, if you were in the position, how would you go about, involving people that are living all over, young people that have the willingness to apply themselves to help in the development of Nigeria?
Okay. Thank you very much. Like I said, there are so many brilliant Nigerians everywhere in the world, and I've come in contact with them everywhere I've been. If I were to be a part of this government, I would try to persuade the government to actually set up a unit whereby we can request for input from Nigerians in the diaspora.
I can say we could potentially have that. Bear in mind now. Yes.
So, I mean, you have been involved in this thing.
Yes.
So it is very easy. I know of a guy who called me last week from New York. He's in the power sector. As a matter of fact, if anything happens to electricity in New York today, this guy will probably be one of the first people to be contacted. And yet the man is able to function in New York, but is not known at home. You are in Sweden now, you are functioning in Sweden, meanwhile, no one knows about what you can do to help Nigeria. So, in fact, that is where General Buhari is very fortunate, because there are so many Nigerians now who believe in his government. And they are willing, not even for money or for anything, they are willing to just say, yes, we are also able to do it in our country.
Yeah.
Let's wait till after the inauguration. You can reach me on Twitter at dele momodu. You can reach me on Facebook. If you send messages, I'm sure even if I'm not in that government, I will find a way to pass across some of these things. Unfortunately, we have a vice president who is a hardcore intellectual, very cerebral, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. I'm sure this may fall under
his territory.
Yes,
And
his
of
desk.
course, Abike Dabri is member of the...
So we hope that we will have people who understand how the diaspora works in government. I expect someone like Honorable Abike Dabiri to be in one position or the other. I mean, I'm almost certain that, but I don't know what portfolio, whether it will be at the ministerial level or some other levels. But there is so much to do right now for our country. And we will encourage every one of you who have one brilliant idea or the other to just prepare it ready, make it as short and sharp, because people don't like to read long things when there are thousands of proposals everywhere. And we will see how far we can go.
We can go. Well, the diaspora organization, so you should need to remember Nigerians in diaspora organization, NIDO, they're out there as well. So maybe you have one in Sweden, try and tap into their resources and knowledge, and maybe they too can begin to galvanize themselves together. Let's take the next caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, my name is Tanda.
Okay, Tanda, you're welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Well done, guys. I'm calling regarding the role that Jonathan played, and I think he played a fair role, and kudos to Nigeria for that. We hope that the new government will continue where Jonathan stopped and will play a fair role in 4 years' time. So Jonathan has done his bit. It will be the role of the new government to do their bit and add on in 4 years' time.
Yeah.
As for Abati, he was just doing his job, and how many friends and colleagues could he possibly really bring into the fold? He doesn't own Nigeria.
Yeah.
As far as Buhari is concerned, we know from the past that he introduced war against indiscipline in the 80s. Fair enough. But what we also know, that there was a witch hunting against non-northern governors. For example, the late Ambusali of the old Bengal state. Now I hope that there will not be a repeat of this as we move on.
Yeah.
And I pray that he has grown politically to the extent where he can have an inclusive government. Because if you really, really, really want to do Nigeria good, you will include all of her children.
Okay.
God bless Nigeria. Good luck, Nigeria. Good luck.
God bless you. God bless you. I don't totally agree that General Buhari had to witch hunt people in the past because of where they come from. As a matter of fact, don't forget that General Buhari and the late Alhaji Umaru Diko were both northerners. And yet he tried to pick Umaru Diko from London to Nigeria before it was aborted. So it's not exactly true. I knew of so many northerners who were jailed, who were in prison, and yes, I think the only exception was Shehu Shagari, who was placed under house arrest, and people complained that Chief Alex Ekweme was in prison while the president was. So I don't know what was responsible for that, you know. But trust me, with the little that I know about General Buhari, in fact, some of his godsons that I know today are actually Yoruba people. When I met him in 2011, one of the closest guys to him is now a senator-elect, and that's Prince Lanre Teju Osho. From Ogun State. He took me to General that night. He told General Dele was in town, I was one of his chief critics. I used to criticize him a lot. And Larry told him I was in Abuja. And immediately he said he would not sleep that night until they brought him to him. And I went in and we chatted freely. And I could see that, okay, maybe the man was not as bad. A lot of times, it's always about perception. I mean, a gentleman just said it here this morning on television that he never knew
that you're this good.
I had this kind of disposition.
Yes.
But anyone who has followed me over the years will know that I say it as it is. I supported Goodluck Jonathan when they were not going to allow him to take power in 2010. I marched on the streets of Abuja. The police grabbed my neck. I had, a scratch, on my neck. I didn't support him because he's from the Niger Delta. I was not a member of PDP.
Yes.
So, but people have this perception that anybody who did not support Jonathan this time must be an enemy. No, it's not. So I can assure you, man, that don't even entertain any fear. Some of the closest people that I know to General Buhari today are not even Northerners. That is the truth. So even if you look at people like Malam Nasir El-Rufai, his best friend that I know is Jimmy Lawal. They are always together. He's a Yoruba man, So when people say these things, no. I mean, look at even at the level of politics within APC. Some of the closest people to General Buhari are the Rotimi Amechis of this world, Dr. Bukola Saraki, Governor Ibukule Amosun, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who is his vice, former governor Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. These are none. So right now, APC is so big that it cannot be appropriated by any one section of our society. I mean, Rocha Sokorocha is a very influential man who you cannot ignore in the new scheme of things. My own governor from Edo State, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, how do you ignore such a man? Or a Kayode Fayemi, the former governor of Ekiti State. These are all brilliant guys who have made it possible today for us to have this change. And I don't see how anybody, the young boys, Debola Williams and co, who run the Red Media in Lagos, who transformed Buhari into a youngish brand. These are not Northerners. So there's no way anybody.
Debola really did a good job.
Yeah, those guys, Chudi, Judanwo and all of them, they all did their bit. And so we will continue to support him, like we said. If we notice any such discrimination, trust me, we will find a way to bring it to his attention. And I'm sure he won't like it.
Well, let's take our last caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. You're live with us.
Okay. My name is Wally. I'm calling from Manchester.
Okay, Wally, you're welcome to the program.
Okay. Right. Good morning, Chief dele momodu.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Chief. Dr. Alistair Chiode.
Thank you.
Yes. I've got a few things to contribute this morning. But first of all, I really want to congratulate both of you because I've been watching this program for quite a while. And whenever I see Chief Momodu on Ben TV, you're always very positive. And you always say the truth and what Nigerian problem is, and now we can move forward. I won't say that. What I want to really contribute this morning is about the government of Nigeria, about how the new government will hit the ground running. Because we all know in the past government, there's no check and balance. And that is one of the major things that government needs to adopt. Yes. So let me hit the area of setting standards and policy control. Basically, when government formulates a very good policy and government set the standard and leave the nitty-gritty for the grassroots people to look after, and also when there's check and balance, I believe then things will start taking place.
Okay.
And then everyone will be responsible.
Okay.
Everyone will be doing what they need to do. So, and not to take too much of your time, I just want to tell you that I'm very, very excited. And sometimes when you mention names, or you mention names of some people that are capable of getting Nigeria to the next level, to El Dorado, I had one of you made mention of because I think that's cheif dele momodu. These are the competent people. These are very passionate people about Nigeria. These are the kind of people we need in Nigeria here that will bring us to the next level.
Okay.
And lastly,
yes, Wale.
Can I say, can we, diaspora, recommend cheif dele momodu to General Buhari? Because I believe he's very competent, and I believe he's a very passionate person about Nigeria.
No doubt.
And I don't know cheif dele momodu from nowhere. I only see him on a television set, and I just want to bring. I just want to contribute my own quota.
Thank you. Thank you, Wale.
We can recommend cheif dele momodu to General Buhari that we want him to be
in the government. Thank you.
We really want him.
Thank you. Thank you, Wale. That's our last caller.
I am so grateful for your generous words. I mean,
your general words to the general.
My head was just swelling like Gari Jebu, you know.
No, actually, you did mention one line that Gari Jebu, one of your articles.
Yes, you know. So Gari Jebu is the one that when you soak it inside water, it actually blows big. Okay. And so that's the way I feel this morning, by the sentiments expressed by you. As I said, it is not within my power to appoint myself into government, but I will appoint myself one way or the other.
Yes.
Whether inside or outside, I will always have a role to play. And that's the role we're already playing here. My chairman here has been playing his role long before now. And everything is always done is towards the betterment of our motherland. And that's all we need to do. All of us, like I said, cannot be in government.
That's right.
And what kills most government is the pressure coming from people. If anyone who puts pressure on me, then I know there is more to it, you know. And that is why, personally, I won't go around putting pressure on anybody, because appointments should be by merit. Especially at the ministerial level. You can dash out a few other things, but ministerial, everybody there, you must have your strikers, you must have your fullback, you must have your midfielders, you must have your goalkeeper, must be number one. So we need the best team. And I pray that God will grant General Buhari and his team the ability to pick the best and the best only.
Amen. Well, I want to say thank you very much. We've been sharing with cheif dele momodu, the publisher of Ovation International and Ovation Group, based in Nigeria, Ghana, other African countries, and of course in the United Kingdom as well, where he has been sharing extensively on Nigeria. Your last word before we go for today?
Well, is that now that we have the change, this is the time for us to keep hope alive. We missed the opportunity in 1993, but 22 years after, here we are. Nobody ever thought we could get PDP out of power. What we have been able to demonstrate to the whole world now is that truly we have democracy in our country. Because the meaning of democracy is our ability to remove an underperforming government and replace them with a new one. We're not sure if the new one will do better, and if they misbehave, you replace them again. That is the meaning of democracy. So it's not about where you come from, it's not about religion, it's not about age, it's not about gender. It is about our ability to keep searching for that El Dorado. And I know we shall get it.
Thank you very much, as we all keep searching for that El Dorado. Performance is very important. 4 years is already running. Before you know, it will be 2.5 years, and then everybody will be talking about the next election, 2019. Will it be the APC maintaining momentum, or will it be a rebounds PDP coming back with a vengeance? But of course, after learning that you just don't take Nigerians for granted. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful remaining holiday. And until next time, 3 p.m. today, and as always, another live show. Thank you, and God bless for now. So let's enjoy the news footage coming after this section.